They say most accidents at night are caused by fatigue, animals, or drunk drivers, but that's a lie. Sometimes people disappear from roads that are perfectly clear. No skid marks, no broken glass, no sign of a crash, just gone. I'm going to tell you about one of those nights, and the thing that waited in the dark for someone unlucky enough to stop. It was late September, around 11:45 at night, when I left my friend's place. The air was that kind of cold that sticks to your skin and creeps into your bones, the kind where you can see your breath even under the street lamps. I had a 40-minute drive home, most of it along a stretch of rural highway that cut through miles of woods. Hardly any houses, no real towns, just the occasional flicker of a farmhouse light way off in the distance. I'd driven it plenty of times before, but that night felt different, like the dark itself was thicker, heavier. The road was a black ribbon cutting through an even blacker forest. It was late, well past midnight, and I hadn't seen another car for an hour. About 10 minutes in, my headlights caught something up ahead, low to the ground. My first thought was that it was a deer. I slowed, my foot hovering over the brake, trying to make sense of its strange stillness. But as I got closer, I realized it was crawling, and not like a person who fell. This thing moved on all fours, but bent in a way that looked wrong. It had a deliberate spider-like scuttle, its limbs bending at angles that defied anatomy. The movement was jerky, yet unnervingly fast. It was pale, almost white, like the skin hadn't seen sunlight in years, stretched thin and translucent over sharp bones. There were no clothes, just this naked, pallid form moving under the cold glare of my headlights. The sound of my engine must have registered. It stopped dead center in my lane. And the way it snapped its head toward my car, made my chest seize up. Its face was stretched, like it had been pulled into a grin that was too wide to be real. Its eyes were just dark pits, reflecting my headlights back at me. I told myself it was just some drunk guy messing around, a prankster in a mask. But deep down, I already knew that wasn't true. There was no humanity in that posture, no joke in that horrifying grin. I was looking at something that shouldn't exist. My knuckles were white on the steering wheel. I kept driving, fast. My mind raced for a logical explanation, a trick of the light, a weirdly shaped tree stump. I told myself I was just tired. But a mile later, my flimsy rationalization shattered. I saw it again. This time it was standing fully upright at the edge of the trees, watching me pass. The moonlight caught its pale, luminous skin, and that grin. It was wider now, a grotesque slash in its featureless face. It wasn't breathing heavy, not a single twitch. It was perfectly still, a statue carved from nightmare fuel. It was waiting. It knew I'd be coming. My heart hammered against my ribs. I gripped the wheel so tight my fingers ached and forced my eyes forward, trying desperately not to look in the mirrors. But the problem with driving at night is the suffocating darkness. The rearview mirror wasn't a window to the road behind me. It was a portal to an abyss where anything could materialize. Another mile ticked by, each rotation of the tires a drumbeat of dread, and then another sighting. It had moved closer. This time it was crouched directly on the road's gravel shoulder, like a predator ready to pounce, its limbs bent at angles that defied anatomy. The grin looked bigger. Its eyes caught the high beams, and they didn't reflect the light. They devoured it. They shone back with a piercing, self-luminous intensity, like twin pinpricks of cold, white fire. Not the warm reflection of an animal. This was sharp, intelligent, and utterly alien. My chest felt caught in a vice, my hands slick with sweat. My foot eased off the accelerator, an involuntary reaction born of sheer disbelief. That's when I made the mistake of slowing down, just for a second. A tiny hesitation, but in the silent, predatory calculus of this chase, it was enough. In the corner of my eye, I saw it drop to all fours. Its movements were fluid, yet horribly disjointed. It started moving, not running, scuttling. A low, impossibly fast crawl that ate up the asphalt, its limbs churning in a way that makes your brain stutter because it simply should not be possible. Panic broke through. I slammed my foot on the gas, flooring it. The engine screamed, my tires squealed, and the car fishtailed wildly. I fought for control, needing distance. Except, distance was an illusion. No matter how fast I went, it was there again, always ahead, always watching with that same silent, soul-shredding grin. I was about halfway home when my gas light came on. The cheerful chime I usually ignored sounded like a death knell. The highway was a familiar ribbon of asphalt, but tonight it felt alien, and of all the nights for this to happen, it had to be this one. Normally, it's no big deal. There's a 24-hour station about 15 minutes from my house, but with every sighting, my options shrank. Stop for gas and risk it catching up, or keep going and risk running out in the middle of nowhere. My hands shook as I kept my eyes locked on the road, calculating every terrible scenario. The crawler made the choice for me. Just before the turnoff to the station, it emerged from the tree line. It didn't scuttle or run. It simply stepped into my lane, upright, a grotesque parody of a human silhouette. That smile, it had teeth, long, narrow teeth like shards of glass. It didn't move when I blasted my horn. It just tilted its head, a gesture so unnervingly curious, so analytical. It was studying me. My heart pounded so hard I thought I might pass out, but I swerved hard, the tires screaming as I barely missed it. For a split second, its pale face filled my passenger window. When I looked back in the mirror, it was gone. I made it to the station, breathing hard, knuckles white on the wheel. The place was a sterile island of light in an ocean of black. The place was empty, no cars, no people, just the incessant, lonely buzz of the fluorescent lights, amplifying the silence. The woods pressed right up against the edge of the lot, a dark, impenetrable wall. Every shadow looked like it could be hiding something. I knew I couldn't stay in the car. My movements were jerky as I got out, the cold night air hitting me as I fumbled with the gas cap. Halfway through filling the tank, the numbers on the pump climbing with agonizing slowness, I heard the sound. Not footsteps, more like nails scratching pavement, slow, dragging, coming from the darkness at the edge of the lot. I turned, and there it was, under the farthest flickering light, a pale shape, crouched low to the ground, its limbs splayed at impossible angles. It was watching me. My brain screamed at me to get in the car, but my body froze. It started moving toward me, flowing across the asphalt in a silent, fluid horror. Each crawl was impossibly smooth, like its joints could bend any way it wanted with a grotesque grace. The click of the pump shutting off broke the spell. I snapped out of it and dove into the car. The pump ripped free, spilling gas, but I didn't care. The engine roared to life just as a pale hand slapped against the passenger window. I floored it out of the lot so fast the tires squealed. The last 15 minutes home were a blur. I didn't see it again on the road, but I couldn't shake the feeling that it was following, not beside me, not behind me, but above, like it could move through the trees faster than I could drive. When I finally pulled into my driveway, my relief lasted about 3 seconds because there, standing under the streetlight across the road, was the crawler. Upright, watching, that grin still plastered across its face. It didn't come closer. It didn't move at all. It just stood there until I went inside, locked every door and window, and sat in the dark with my heart still pounding. I never drove that route again, and I never saw the crawler again either. But sometimes, on quiet nights, I hear that faint dragging sound from the edge of the woods, and I don't go outside.